Hello, I am Dr. Ashok Kumar, and in this video we are going to understand what the disease cancer is all about. Cancer is a condition where there is unregulated cellular growth. We have to actually understand two phenomena in this regard. Number one, how is a cell being able to grow in an unregulated manner? And the second thing is, we need to understand the role of immune system in cancer. Regarding the role of immune system in cancer shall be discussed in a separate video. Let us discuss the first issue here. Let us try to understand what the word unregulated cell growth means. Under normal physiology, a cell would grow and multiply just to replace the old ones which have been degenerated or the ones that have been damaged through normal wear and tear. Once the cells reach their normal quantity, the cell division would stop. But in cancer, even after reaching the normal levels, the cells continue to multiply and grow further on without any control, and this itself could damage other tissues, and this nature of unregulated growth could also spread to neighboring tissues as well as to distant tissues. What is the reason? How is this happening? Rather than asking how, if we ask the question why this is happening, it would take us to a holistic perspective rather than a biochemical perspective. Let me take an example for this. Take the case of lung cancer, where a person due to smoking suffers from lung cancer. Now, what is the function of lungs? Lungs are a part of respiratory system. What do? They provide the body with the required amount of oxygen. So, the lungs absorb the oxygen from the air and give it to the blood so that our body is using it for normal energy purposes. In this condition, if a person is going to indulge in smoking, what happens? That irritant chemicals present in the smoke, that is tobacco, it is going to irritate the lung tissues continuously. And if this person is going to have this habit for a long time, what happens? These lung cells are put into a state of chronic stress. What happens? After a certain amount of time, the cells begin to think, so long we have been helping this person by providing him the required amount of oxygen. But now, this person, without any due regard, he is putting us in a state of chronic stress, that is through smoking. So, what do the cells decide? Okay, fine, let this person live as per his wish, and let we, that is the lung cells, let us live as per our wish. And so now what happens? They stop cooperating or coordinating with the other body organs and systems, and instead of that they start to live on their own accord. This might seem quite strange. Is it really possible? Yes, from a biochemical plane it would seem very strange, but the same thing, if we think in a holistic point of view, it is very easy to understand. Let us take the example of a family. What happens in a family? Say a group of 6 members are there. What do? Each member of the family supports one another. Same thing in our human body as well. Each system, that is respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, endocrine system, immune system, all of these systems, each system supports the others, and at the same time it also receives support from the other systems, just like a family. Now, what happens if in a family, due to some sort of a misunderstanding or some reasons. If a person is not receiving the enough amount of love, care and attention from his family, what happens? Slowly he may begin to behave in a negative manner, such that his behavior may damage himself and also his own family. Same thing is happening in our human body as well. Now, just let us try to think. In a family that is of various systems which is functioning together in perfect cooperation, if there is a problem between systems or one particular system is being put under chronic stress, again, let's try to think. Who would be the head of this family? Obviously, it is the mind. So, in these conditions, if the head of the family, that is the mind, has to ensure that all systems are receiving proper amount of energy and nutrients and no one system is put under too much of stress, or in case due to certain unavoidable circumstances, if one particular system or one group of cells are being put under a state of chronic stress, the head of the family, that is the mind, should ensure or take proper measures to relieve that particular stress and strengthen or give more energy to that affected organ or system. And through this way, we can actually prevent further episodes of cancer. Now, let's try to understand this, how this irritation is happening in the human body or this chronic stress. Actually, there are 4 methods by which a system or an organ can be put under stress. Number 1 is what we discussed, that is a place where the toxins directly enter into the body. It may be due to smoking habits, alcohol, or environmental pollutants, or the kind of chemicals which are normally added in the food in the name of preservatives, food additives or taste enhancers and color additives and so on. This is one method by which toxins directly enter into the system. The second way is that toxins can be created due to improper digestion of the food. That is, even though the food we take is of good quality, if it is not digested properly, it may be due to reasons such as taking food when we are not hungry, or taking food when the previous food has not yet been digested. Due to this also, that is due to too much of indigestion, or what happens, there is too much of metabolic waste accumulating in the body, and again this can increase the amount of toxins in our body. And in this condition, what happens, these toxins would be circulating all over the body, and what happens is these toxins can accumulate in a place where, or in an organ where it is the most weakest. For example, in some patients their pancreas may be very weak, a few others the breast or prostate gland, liver, kidneys or any organ may be very weak due to their specific lifestyle habits. So what happens, these toxins tend to get accumulated more in that particular organ or in that particular tissues. So what happens, this particular tissue is put under chronic stress, and over a period of time they may turn cancers. Now the third type, what is that? That is, if due to some reasons the normal waste products which are being produced in our body under regular metabolism, if they are not being excreted from the body, if there is some inhibition in that process, what happens? The waste products produced under normal metabolism tends to get accumulated in our body. Again, the reasons may be, say for example, improper physical activity where there is very much less amounts of sweating, or some kidney disease where the kidney is not able to purify the body or eliminate the toxins from the body, or it may be due to certain diseases of the liver where the body is not able to effectively detoxify the body. And again, due to these reasons, the normal waste which is being produced in our body without getting excreted gets accumulated in the body. This also can increase the toxic overload. This is the third reason. Now, the fourth reason of how toxins can get accumulated. This is very particularly important in present day lifestyle. That is negative emotions. Negative emotions can also increase the toxic overload in the body. Again, this can happen in two ways. One, the negative emotions can severely affect our digestive capacity. Even this we all might have experienced in our day-to-day activities. For example, just imagine we come home after work for dinner at home, we are really feeling hungry and we just are about to be served with the food. At that time, if something happens or we get to hear some bad news or something happens where we get really angry, what happens at that time? Would we be able to eat the normal amount of food which we would have eaten otherwise? No. That disturbance in the mind severely affects our capacity to eat. So normally we might even avoid taking food, or we may take the food but we will not be able to digest it properly. If this happens say once in a while, say once in a month or so, it does not affect the body. But if this is going to happen regularly, then the indigestion can cause accumulation of toxins in our body. Another way is this negative emotions itself severely causes an imbalance in our endocrine system. That is the whole functioning of body with the help of hormones. This gets imbalanced. So what happens? The functioning of the whole human body itself gets affected seriously. And due to this, like the examples what we saw before, the food will not get digested properly, the elimination of toxins will not be happening properly, and each organ will not be able to do their function properly. This again greatly increases the toxic overload. So these are basically the four ways by which the toxic overload increases in our body. And so now, like I said, the head of the family, that is the mind. Through a healthy mind, we need to ensure that we make healthy choices in our life and take necessary steps such that we are able to eliminate the toxins regularly from our body and also prevent or at least minimize the future or further accumulations of toxins in our body. If you are going to follow these measures, then definitely we have a greater chance in prevention and also management of cancer. In case you have any further clarifications in this regard, you can always contact me through mobile or email, and I would be very happy to help you in this regard. Thank you.